Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you once again. I just wanted to pay some respect to one of my favorite filmmakers of all time, and that is, of course, Lucio Fulci. It has been his week. His birthday was just a few days ago on the 17th. Man, born in 1927, unfortunately passed in 1996. But man, did he leave an indelible mark, man, and especially in my life. And I just want to spend a few minutes, man, and just recognize him as a filmmaker. In brief, share with you a top 10 out of my collection, and just make you aware if Fulci's sort of new to you, or maybe you've only dabbled, give you some reason why you ought to sink yourself into some Fulci. Of course, we're talking Italy, Italian cinema here, right? And Fulci's career spans, man, going all the way back to like 1959, man, and of course ending in about 1994, just a couple years before his passing. But this man is amazing, man. He began in comedy, just made an indelible mark in Italy as a filmmaker. From a technical point of view, man, few match him, man, in what he was able to accomplish, especially in a very short period of time, from about 79 to about 82. What he will put out during that brief is unparalleled, I think, in cinema history. And then, you know, he will do everything from westerns, which are freaking phenomenal, especially the Four of the Apocalypse, Giallo, The Psychic, springs to my mind, of course, A Woman in a Lizard Skin, right? And then, man, he will explode in 1979 with Zombie, and then boom, that'll begin, man. He'll suddenly find himself in the midst of what we call the Gates of Hell trilogy, or some refer to as Lovecraft's trilogy. And then he'll spring out of that to the New York Ripper, and then start moving on eventually in 90, capstoning much of his achievement in A Cat in the Brain. And then there'll be a couple things after, and pretty much that'll be the end, unfortunately. So where does Fulci come into my life? As a kid, I rented stuff out of the video store all the time. There was a video store I went into that had just an incredible horror section, and a lot of Italian horror. I don't know if I appreciated it the way I should have back then, but I do now, looking back at what I had. It was insane, man. I got introduced to the likes of Argento and Fulci, Bava, of course, Demons, right? Not so much his dad. His dad came in later in my life. But, you know, the movies that were making a splash, and mostly because the artwork covers that you would see in a video store. But Italian horror came into my life, man. It did. I mean, whether it was Zombie, whether it was City of the Living Dead, probably marketed as Gates of Hell, part of his trilogy, right? It came in. But my love for Fulci really didn't find footing until I started to listen to the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror, and it was Moodz himself and his love and passion for Lucio Fulci that really got me ignited. And as I fell deep into the Gates of Hell trilogy, and I started to become more aware of H.P. Lovecraft, and my love for him grew, and I saw the connection, man, it just, from there, it just started to spring upward. And I started to realize the much greater filmography that Fulci has, including, man, his westerns, man, which are freaking phenomenal. Some Eurocrime there, I think a Contraband, right? But man, he is a man too that, you know, from about 77, I think, to about 82, you know, those years aren't perfect, but somewhere within that scope, he fell into company, man, with, as far as his writers, Sacchetti, Tomasi was editing, Frizzi was composing, Giannato De Rossi, his special effects, unparalleled, especially what he pulled off in Zombie. Salvati was his cinematographer, and it was that group of guys and others that were part of it that really propelled Lucio Fulci to a level few ever attained to. Now, unfortunately, because he's Italian, and you know, it's, you know, a lot of people just aren't as aware. Unless you're as old as me or others, and you have that sort of history of the old video store stomping, the days of Fangoria and Gore Zone, right, and all that. Lucio Fulci was there, as well as a cast of others, and Lenzi and Diodato and others. I didn't quite really appreciate their names until much later in life, but I do have memories of renting some of these things. You know, The Hell of the Living Dead comes to mind. You know, of course, seeing it as a kid is a little different than going back and revisiting it now. I still get a kick out of it, but it's a little different, right? So anyways, so, you know, that's my love for Fulci. I really, and it's growing. I freaking just appreciate what he freaking brought. And so I want to do just sort of a commemorative top 10 sliced out of my collection, and real quick, like, and also I'm going to throw some down in the show notes. I'm going to throw a bunch of links to a lot of podcasts. Some of this I'm very familiar with, who delved into some Lucio Fulci, be it the 22 Shots, the Hysteria Continues, the Bloody Pit, I'm trying to think, Exploding Heads. There's a bunch. David Lewin's got an incredible top 10, Lucio Fulci. All these things are going to be dropped down in the show notes. Quick, easy links to send you different places to just soak up some Lucio Fulci if you so desire. So anyways, so let's just get this going here, because I don't want this to be terribly too long. Let's just start here, man. Let's just start here. Troy Howard's book, man. If you want some reading material, man, Splintered Visions, man. Got this not that long ago. It's freaking excellent. I think you can see up behind me, Stephen Thrower's book. Yeah, Beyond Terror is freaking phenomenal. It's about that thick, man. It's freaking awesome. And Fulci for Fake, man. It's sort of a fictional biopic, just freaking well done, man. And if you really don't know a lot about Fulci at all, this is a good place to start, actually, man. A really good film to watch to sort of get an understanding of Lucio Fulci. All right, top 10 out of my own collection. I didn't pull the best of the best down as far as releases, just because of how I have them on my shelf. So let's just start chronologically. 1990, of course, his own Cat in the Brain. Now this movie is really sort of has a special place in my heart, only because this is the first Lucio Fulci film that I saw on the big screen. Eventually I saw another one on the big screen, and I'll get to that in a minute. But Cat in the Brain, man, 1990, sort of a swan song, I think, to his own career, a self-reflective look at his own career. A very interesting film. So number 10, A Cat in the Brain from 1990. Zombie 3 at number 9 from 1988. Unfortunately, his name is credited, but he did not get to be on this very long. His illness kicked in. I want to say Fergasso kicked in and took over. I think it was Fergasso. Somebody can correct me in the comment section. But it is a fun ride. Unfortunately, DeAngelis, who was his producer on Zombie, they never followed up with a direct sequel when it was fresh. I don't know why. DeAngelis just jumped sort of off in another direction and went to go do something else. But that launched Fulci into his Gates of Hell trilogy. But eventually there would be return to this. A little bit too late, unfortunately, but it is a fun ride nonetheless. All right, we'll get down some earlier years here. 1981, right in the midst of the Gates of Hell trilogy. At number 8, The Black Cat. This is my Arrow edition. Freaking outstanding, man. When you get into Arrow's 88s, the later Blue Undergrounds, man, just the freaking amount of extras you get on these things are insane. The commentaries and stuff, historians, whatnot. But The Black Cat, man, his Poe adaptation, pretty freaking good film, man. And coming at number 7, this should actually, yes, I'm sorry, I do have them in order. The House by the Cemetery from 81, sorry, 81. His last in the Gates of Hell trilogy, and maybe the one that has the most steady linear line as far as the narrative goes. But this trilogy really is rooted deep into what we call nightmare logic, where a lot of it just doesn't make sense. But you know what? That's Lovecraftian, man. If you know anything about Lovecraft, he freaking believed the images outweighed the narrative, man. And I agree to a degree. If you know how to manage those images and construct them over the course of the film, they can be very visually a powerful thing. And we'll see that especially in City of the Living Dead. But A House by the Cemetery, man. 81, The Last of the Gates of Hell. The middle entry, probably considered his masterpiece or a masterpiece. The Beyond This is one of my better releases. The Grindhouse release. And I do have the Blue Underground of House by the Cemetery, which is a phenomenal release. I mean, the newer Bluer Underground, which is up there. But this release by the Grindhouse is freaking out of this world, man. The Beyond. Just right there in the middle of the trilogy. You know, Nightmare Logic, man. Just freaking atmosphere so freaking thick. It's freaking unreal, man. God, man, what a movie, man. What a movie. What I consider one of the greatest horror films ever, coming at number, and that was 6. The Beyond was number 6. Number 5, City of the Living Dead, marketed here in the United States as The Gates of Hell. Also this is 1980, right? And really, man, this is, as far as I'm concerned, horror gets no better than this film. Of course, a very young Michele Soavi's in this. He'll go on to direct one of my favorite slashes of all time, Stage Fright in '87. But man, it's just freaking, man, just the set pieces, what they were able to, now you gotta remember, some of these movies right here, they're all compressed into like a 3-4 year time period, and it is insane what they were able to produce. But City of the Living Dead, man, the atmosphere alone is just insane. Oh, 1979, of course, this is what propelled him to stardom, I guess. Of course, the Blue Underground Bridge Cover Edition of Zombie. I did see this on the big screen. Freaking awesome, man. This was just absolutely awesome. God, I don't know what else to say about this movie, man. This movie. But this is the movie that launches him into stardom. Going back now into number, that was 4, number 3, from 1977, The Psychic is yellow. And really, this is sort of cut out of the Poe Black Cat sort of idea. And this is one of my favorite giallos of all time, man. I freaking love this movie, man. I love the end. The end is, the payoff is so freaking sweet, man. It is so sweet. And it's got a great dummy death in there as well. Going back a little bit earlier into number 2, that was number 3. Number 2 is Western from 1975, 4 of the Apocalypse. Fabio Testi in this thing, man. What a freaking movie, man. I reviewed this on Body Bags, as well as a few others, The Psychic and some of the others. I guess I should have said that along the way, but for the Apocalypse, man, I reviewed this not too long ago. This was such a fun freaking ride, man. And it really does lay out in a wonderful way of some of the things that we're going to come to see with Lucio Fulci in a very, very short manner of time. And that was number 2. Number 1, going back all the way to 1972, what's considered his masterpiece of giallo, Don't Torture a Duckling, just an absolutely outstanding release by Arrow, multi-disc, just the commentary special, just the extras. Just a phenomenal, and this movie, man, I reviewed this on Body Bags as well. Just a phenomenal movie, man. Just a phenomenal movie. The 10 films, man, the 10 films that maybe make up the core of my collection, at least to this point. I have a few above and beyond this, and as I said, his filmography is growing in my collection, and the releases, man, just keep getting better. Compliments of Arrow, compliments of Blue Underground, Grindhouse, of course, and others. 88 films. Just appreciate that we live in a day and age, man. Albeit the video stores are gone, but at least we live, you know, the Amazon UK affords us the luxury and privilege of being able to shop around the world if you're region free. You know, and find these things via these distribution companies is freaking awesome. But man, my love for Fulci continues to grow, man. I wanted to share it with you, you guys, just a little bit here in a few minutes. Hope you appreciate it, man. And if you don't know Fulci that well, I hope maybe this this video will inspire you the way Moodz inspired me to follow after this guy. Don't forget all the links down below. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills. Enjoy your Father's Day.